Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica. On today's video, we are going to be continuing in our alphabet series, the How I Color alphabet series. This is letter F, and F is for fur. It is one of my challenges for sure. It is something that I tend to not want to color. I can color it. I have colored it. However, it just sometimes feels daunting to me, even though I kind of understand how to do it now. So I'm going to show you some examples, and then we're going to color a couple of furry creatures. And I'm going to give you just a couple different ways that I would approach coloring fur. So let me show you. We're going to start with Daydreams here. This is probably the one that I have the most fur colored in out of every other book that I own. And the very first one that I did was this one. I did this cute little kitty cat, and I'm going to move it closer just so you can kind of see some of the strokes on his fur. So you can see that there's individual little strokes all over it. Yeah. I think because I think one of the reasons it's a little daunting is I feel like when I do the fur, it needs to be realistic. I don't know why I feel like that, but it just tends to happen that way. This is another one that I did that was fur. So I did this cute little bunny. You can see he's all nice and furry. And then another one. Now on this one, I only did one of the little mice furry, but I think he turned out really cute. So it's this one here. Cute little mouse. I do have a couple of other attempts at fur in here that didn't work quite as well. I think that one. No, those guys I just did straight coloring on those. I thought there was one more. Oh, this one. So here's another cat, which it's not terrible, but it's not my favorite one that I've ever done. And then this cat, which when I started this page, I really had no idea what I was doing as far as coloring. Like it was one of my earliest pages in this book. And I had gone through and done, I think just like a layer of orange everywhere, if I remember correctly. And then since then, I've gone over top with some pencils. So I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to pick it up, but you can see it probably the best right around in here where there's a little bit of, you can see a little bit of the lines that I did for the fur. But it's not, this one is definitely not a realistic type one. This is more of just like the hint of fur. I think that's it in this book. Yeah. Another one that I did was in Flora, and this one is this cute little bunny, which I thought he turned out adorably. This whole page was done with Crazy Art pencils. So these were very inexpensive pencils, but they're very hard pencils. And that's a big tip to make sure that you're using a harder pencil. Now, that being said, I probably am going to show you some fur using Prismacolors as well as a harder pencil, but it just, for me, it tends to be a little bit easier to get your nice hair strokes when you're using a harder pencil. So yeah, so this one was Crazy Art, and he turned out just really cute. I think he's adorable. Okay, let me show you another one. So this one, in Fragile World, I did this lovely little otter. Now this one was a little bit different because all of these, like the black lines, were already in here. So, you know, I mean, Kirby goes through and he adds a ton of detail. Let me show you another furry animal. So you can see, like, those are both furry animals and they have all of the detail, the texture in there. But the thing that I did is I went through even further and added strokes into that as well. And it's kind of difficult to see it, but they're there. But yeah, so that one turned out really cute, and it's always nice when they have the first strokes in there already. and you don't have to worry about putting them all in. And then the last one that I wanted to show you, and this is probably the one I'm most proud of. I have to find it. Sorry about that. I thought I marked this guy. I did not. This one. So this was a Maine Coon cat, and this one I had actually looked up the cat and tried to do my best to replicate it, and it turned out really, really cute. I really like the way that it turned out. And she has a lot of cool animals too, so you can see that wolf would be really awesome to color in. And oh, there's a cat one, but that one is not fur. This is one of my earliest pages that I still never have finished. But again, here's more wolves. She's got lots of fun animals to do. But yeah, this one I was very proud. And the Polychromos pencils are what I used for this, and it worked so well on this cat. But yeah, so there are some of the animals that I've colored. I am going to do, I think, 2, possibly 3, and a lot of it will be speed coloring, but you know, I'll go through the colors I'm using and show you a little bit of the technique, and then kind of speed through the rest of it just so you can see. So I will, I'm going to get my stuff together and I will be right back with you guys. All right, so the first page we're going to work on is in this beautiful Story of Precious Cats book that I have not colored in because it's very intimidating to me, but I figure, you know, when else would be a better time. So this is the page that I had kind of marked to color, and there are 4 cats on it. I'm not going to do all 4 today. I am just going to focus on one, and I'm going to do this cute little guy right here. And my plan for him is to be an orange tabby. So I have my colors picked. I'm using Polychromos pencils. And for now, I'm going to start out with light yellow ochre 183, terracotta 186, burnt sienna 283, and burnt umber 280. I think my plan is I'm going to map out kind of where I want my colors to go, and then I will go through and we'll start doing like the flicking for the fur. Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and use this orangey color, or this yellowy ochre color first, because that's my lightest color. And I know that I think I want it to be like straight from here. I want all of this down here to be in the like white, lighter, you know what I'm trying to say. White, more white fur than orange fur. And then I want his little paws to be white. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a divider here and another divider there. And then his tail will be all orange. So he's just gonna have like a white tummy and white paws. And I think that's it. Yeah, and then around his eyes. Yeah, okay, so the biggest thing for fur is you want your pencil strokes to go the direction that the fur would be going. That's really what you have to remember. If you can pull up a reference photo, that is 100% a helpful tool to use. And so what I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to go through and flick the hair in the direction that I see it going. And then from there, I will add in different colors and different like patterns and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So on the nose, the hair always flicks up on the center of a cat. So it kind of goes up this direction and then it curves outward from there. So I'm just going to flick in that direction. And then once you get to the top, it kind of starts curving back that way. Okay, and then we're going to go up the ears and up this way. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a space around the eye. Just to see if I want to add any cutesy stuff to that later. Like more pattern or a darker line or something. Okay, and then on the nose, under here, that it comes out from the, kind of comes down like that. Okay, and then it curves down around the eye here. There we go. Okay, and the same for the arm, so it's all going to go in that general direction. Some of the hair on the outside kind of curves towards the outside edge of the cat. Okay, and then we're gonna do his little legs down here. And I'm not coloring solidly all the way across. I'm just doing little flicks. And again, the tail, so we're gonna make sure that you're following the direction that the tail is going. So you're gonna curve your flicks as you go around that tail. Okay. So that's our base layer. I am going to add a very light bit of color underneath the water here, just until it kind of disappears. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with my next darkest color, which is the Terracotta, and I'm going to follow the same pattern. So I'm just going to come in and start adding flicks. And you can vary the length of the strokes. If you want it to be a longer hair animal, you can use short, little tiny strokes. If you want it to be a longer hair, you can do really long strokes. Just get started on it, and then you'll kind of be able to tell once you start on it what kind of strokes are needed for what area. Like on the ear, you don't want huge strokes because it's definitely, yes, it's fuzzy, but it's not super furry typically around the ear. Okay, I'm gonna flick around the eye a little bit here. Okay. I'm still just randomly adding in strokes. Okay. And again, I'm going to add in a few on his arm. All right, and then down on the leg. A little bit in the water. This is just really lightly, because that'll get kind of covered up by the water down there. And then on his tail. Okay, so our next darkest color is that burnt sienna. And this is a pretty, it's not super dark, but it's darker than the other two colors that you've put down. So you're going to want to use this a little more sparingly and not quite as close together, I guess. And you don't want to push hard for this guy either, but it's going to add a nice subtle texture to the kitty cat. Okay. So that's basically all it is for fur, is you just flicking over and over and over and over. So if you're somebody like Corey who likes to do hair, or, you know, you don't mind spending quite a while doing the little fine details of pictures, then this is probably a texture that you don't mind coloring. Now, I don't hate it, but it's like I said, it's not my favorite. And as I go through and do it more often, I don't know. Okay, let me add in some little strokes down here on his legs. All right, so what we've done so far is basically it's just like a base layer. This, like I said, the way that I do this, it tends to be a longer process. Okay, so there's our kitty cat so far. I do have this darker burnt umber that I might add in, but I'm not going to do that yet. So what I'm going to do now is I want a little bit of a pattern on him. So I want him to have some stripy bits on his face. So I'm going to attempt, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to attempt to start at the corner of his eye, and I'm just going to zigzag my way following that fur. And see if I can get a little bit of a texture in there. And then I also want a little bit of a stripe through the center of his head. So I'm going to color that part in a little bit darker too, and see if I can make that appear. So it's basically like a triangle almost, where the point is at the corner of his eye, and then it opens up, and then the same going back this way. And then on his arms, I'm just going to do a few darker spots like that, like a couple of stripes, and maybe a little one coming out there. And then again on his legs, I'm going to do the little triangle thing on his legs. So I'm going to start wider and go to a point, and then start wider and go to a point. Okay, and then on his tail, I'm just going to do some stripies. Okay. All right, so now I've got those blocked in. I can use this little bit of a darker color to add in the hair in there that would make up that pattern. So now I'm going to use that flicking motion to give him a little bit so it looks like the hair is creating the pattern and it's not just drawn in there. Okay, it's still looking like a little bit of a mess, but I will keep working on it. And basically what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to be doing layer after layer of color. And I might add in some of that really dark umber color that I have, that burnt umber, on the pattern areas. And then I think the tip of his tail is going to be darker. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now. I also need, I need to grab a nice warm gray to do a little bit on his paws. And I'm going to grab like the lightest, one of the lightest. So this is a warm gray too. And this is just going to give me a little bit of direction for the hair on his paws. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then a little bit on his face. Just so you can tell that it's white right there. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to keep going through and layering, and I'm going to speed that up so you guys can see how that goes. But like I said, it's just going to be layer after layer after layer, and fingers crossed that it'll turn out. So here we go. Okay, so I am going to come in with this burnt umber now. The kitty cat's looking pretty good. I just want to darken up a little bit of this pattern that's on his head. So that's what I'm going to use this dark umber for. So just where I think the pattern should be. So hopefully I can get that to show up. Okay. And then on his little arms. Okay. And we'll start, it's going to be pretty dark at his tail, and then I'm going to add in those okay, so there's our cute little fur-covered cat. I might add in a little bit darker gray. So let me grab, I'm going to grab the warm gray 4. Okay, and I'm going to add in just a few little spots where I think it might be a little darker around his paws here. And again, I'm paying attention to the direction that my strokes are going. So you want to make sure that everything's going the right way. Okay. And then just a little bit of on his mouth down here. Gosh, he's a cute little guy. Okay. All right. So there's that. I'm gonna, on the inside of the ears, now let me check the front and see what they've done. Yeah, so, you know, when you do like cartoon kind of cats, you know, typically the inside of the ears are pink or whatever. I'm going to just do, I'm going to use the same colors that I used earlier. So I've got this light yellow ochre that I'm going to do a light layer of. And then I'm going to use the terracotta. along like the edges. I'm going to leave that lighter area in the middle. Okay, I think that's good for him. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this burnt umber again, and I'm going to flick up a little, some hairs for his ears here. Okay, and then the last thing that I will typically do is I will take my Posca pen, and on the white areas, I'm just going to add a few little lines in there. And I might do like a little bit over the white line that they provided. Maybe not a ton, but. And again, you want to do the same thing with the Posca. You want to go the same direction that, there we go. The same direction that the fur would be going. And I'm going to add probably some white into the ears because it's just what I do typically. Okay, what do we think? I think he's looking pretty cute. Okay, so I do want to add a little bit more around his eyes. And I'm going to use my burnt umber again. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a darker what am I trying to say, guys? Just gonna use this darker color right around the edges of the eyes. That's it, just little flicks. Okay, and then I'm going to add in the little white highlights. And there is our cute little cat. I think he turned out pretty good. Yeah, so I am going to grab the next little furry thing that we're going to work on. And yeah, and then I will be right back with you guys. Okay, the next little creature that we're going to work on is in Daydreams, and it is this guy. So I have gone through and done a base of marker. So this is just a Tombow marker and a little bit of a Crayola marker, and I just kind of laid out where I wanted the main colors to be. So now I'm going to come in with some Prismacolors and add in a little bit of definition. Now this isn't going to be like super realistic on this one, because Prismacolors, while you can get that effect, that really, you know, detailed effect of the fur, it's not as easy, and you have to sharpen your pencils a lot more. So we're just going to go for the hint of fur on this one instead of like the realism, more of a realism kind of thing. So give me just a second and we'll get started. Okay, so the colors that I have pulled are dark umber PC947, dark brown PC946, light umber PC941, and beige sienna PC1080. So I'm going to go in first with the this light umber, and I'm just going to add in a few hair strokes here and there. And I'm being very light on the pressure of the pencil. And again, just trying to follow the direction that the hair would be going in. So like I said, very, very light pressure, nothing super heavy. And I want to kind of continue that into these little areas here. Okay, and then I'm going to go around the face here. Now the marker base really just kind of gives a nice base layer to work from. And so you don't have to spend quite as much time building up the layers. Okay. Now I want to make sure that I get onto his little arms here. With the Prismacolors, you just, if you keep turning your pencil every couple of strokes, that kind of helps with the keeping the point a little sharper as well. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the dark brown, and I'm just going to go into these areas that have the darker marker bits, and I'm going to just kind of bring that color out a little bit and add a few little strokes in there to look like it is that there's fur there. Okay, so I'm still very lightly just flicking that color in. And you can use this, you can use the base layer, you know, you could use watercolors, you can use markers, alcohol markers, you know, be careful if you've got a back to your page, you know, if you use the alcohol markers, you don't want to necessarily get that, use the alcohol markers and ruin whatever's on the back side of your page. But yeah, with this, it just, and it's gonna look like a crazy mess for a little bit, and then once you start getting enough little bits of hair in there, it starts to sort itself out a little bit. Since I have a little bit of an outline around this eye, I want to make sure that I'm paying some close attention, making sure that I get some good hair strokes out of that side. Okay, so he's looking a little bit better. Still looking a little rough. I'm just going to keep going. I'm probably going to come in with the dark umber again here in a little bit, and then possibly I might use some of this beige sienna to try to bring in a little bit of a lighter color on some of the areas that are white. But I'm going to speed that up so you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'm just going to keep going. Okay, the last little bit that I'm going to do is I'm going to add this beige, which is PC997, and I'm just going to come in and stroke that right through the nose here. I kind of wanted that to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the body. I'm going to come in and add some more of that, what was that one, light umber. I'm going to grab a couple of areas along the edges of the ears. Really anywhere where I see that there's still some white spots. So around the eye here and right here. And then a couple places along the... And this beige is just going to kind of mix everything together. Now, trying to get around all of the plants down there is a pain. So I just went over a lot of it. And then when I go through and color that part in, I'll probably add in some more, I'll add in different colors. I'll erase it and add different colors on top. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and underline a little bit of his jaw here, just to give that a little bit more definition, and then flick some color down into his body from that jaw. Okay, I'm going to add his little nails. Here is my... add the little nails right here. I'm not even sure what this is. I don't know if it's a squirrel or what it is. I'm going to use a gold gel pen to add a little ring in there. Let's see, what else do I need to do? I need to do his eyes. I think I'm just going to do them dark brown. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the outside. I think I do. Just going to color that in dark brown and hope that that is acceptable. And you can kind of extend that corner a little bit if you feel like it. Okay. All right. So I think that he is, well, you know, one more thing. Sorry. I'm going to take this dark brown as well. And anywhere where there is a point on his ear, I'm going to extend just a little bit past that. So it looks like he's a little fuzzy up there on his ears. Okay, I'm going to do that over here too. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I could keep playing with this for forever, but I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop now so that I don't keep going and going and going. It's the same way when I do hair. Like I feel like I could just keep adding layers and it would just get more and more detailed. But I don't think I need to do any more on this little man. Okay, so there is our, oh wait, I'm going to do his nose. I'm going to give him a black nose. There he is. All right, our little squirrel mouse something king. Yeah, so that one is with, you know, having a base coat of something and then just adding another layer of stuff on top. So then the last little one I'm going to do is with some budget pencils, and so I can show you kind of how that looks. This method with the Prismas is not my favorite. The polys are my favorite, and I'm pretty sure that these budget ones that I'm about to use are going to be really good too. So, yeah. there's that guy, and I will be right back with the next one. Okay, the last little creature we're going to do today is in Flora, and it is another little squirrel, unless that last one wasn't a squirrel, I don't know. But I'm going to do this little guy, and I've got a couple different colors pulled. I'm using the Shuttle Art pencils, so I've got pale yellow and lead gray. I'm going to have the squirrel's tummy be a little bit lighter. And then I also have ginger yellow, bronze, and brown for the rest of his body. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to kind of color block where I want that color to be. And I think I want his little nose a little bit right in here to be lighter. And then I can use this gray color. Now these are super sharp, but I can just add a little bit of color in there, just tiny little lines, and then go back over top with that pale yellow, and that'll just kind of give the illusion that maybe there's some hair there. All right, so the next I'm going to go through, I think I'm going to just do a light layer with the ginger yellow, and I'm going to follow the direction of the fur. So this is just like a base layer here. I'm going to do that over the whole squirrel. So now we're going to go through with the brown, and I'm just going to add in the flicking with the brown, and then I'll do the bronze. Okay, there's our cute little squirrel. And basically all I did is I went through, just like I said, and I did a layer of one layer of the lightest brown that I have, and then I went over with the, and then I did a light flicking layer with the brown, and then added in the bronze in some of the darker areas, and then went back over with the brown again, and then last went back over with the ginger. And that just kind of finished him off. And then on his tummy, I did add a little bit of the ginger yellow in, and the brown in with the pale yellow that I had already put down. And then I outlined his eye with the bronze and gave him a little bit of a nose with the bronze. And lastly, I went through and gave him like a rough fuzzy edge. I am going to make his feet a little bit darker too. I want to give him, I want his little paws to be a little bit darker. So I want to make sure that I put that bronze in there. Okay, so that is it. Oh wait, we've got his tail, but you get the gist. I'll work on his tail. But that's what he's gonna look like. So yeah, you can use the same technique on any page that you have. One that I have that I really need to work on next is, and I have been putting it off for a very long time, is this guy. because I've done this side and I did the tail and it looks gorgeous and I love it. However, I don't remember what colors I used. The only colors that I wrote down were my gold colors, so that's going to be a little frustrating. But this is, I'm hoping to work on him here soon because I think he's going to be really fun to do. But yeah, so I like how my little squirrel turned out and my other little creatures, my other little critters. Let me show you that. I'll show you the cat again too, because that one was really cute. So there's the kitty cat and our squirrel. Those two turned out to be my favorites. And again, I think it's because I'm using that harder tip pencil. So a lot of your budget pencils are going to be a harder pencil to use. And like I said, those are great for hair and fur, and feathers, things like that. And then of course your Polychromos, because those are just the best pencils. So that's it for today on the fur. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next is, I think it's G for glass. I think that's the next one that's coming up. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that today. And until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.